Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dad around Yaks Band. We have a fantastic show for you. An update on Living Story Episode 2, forum chats when, and proposed PvP and WvW skill split changes, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He is a moderator over at MMO Champion and host of Zero to Hero on this channel. It seems the delivery man had issues with the Living Story trailer this week, but that's life. Say hello to Jim.
Honestly, I think I can wait. I have yet to do really anything with the meta in the new zone, and then they're just going to slap another map into the game with the next chapter, and I'm just not ready for that. So,
no new shinies now. Oh, all right. And he streams over on his Twitch where he answers the age-old question: does ArenaNet know how many days are left in February? Say hello to Age.
I hope so.
Me
that
too.
Would really throw a wrench in the timetable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hi guys.
And she writes for MMORPG.com and also her own site, MMORly.com. She has been gone for quite some time. I guess her roar wasn't good enough for the new Lion King movie. Say hello to Robin.
Hi. Wow. I just don't even know what to say to that.
Well, let us jump right into it. So, first up, if you've probably been playing this week or, been on the forums or any social medias, you probably noticed them talking about some login issues. So, there's been some login issues yesterday, but they do say it seems to be okay now, but there are instructions on the forums on how to log any errors that could help ArenaNet out if you are still having that problem. So definitely let them know so they can, figure it out.
When you were saying login issues, it sounded like you were saying logging issues, and then I was like, what, they're having issues with lumberjacks? Like, what's going on?
You never know.
I had logging issues because they didn't give us a logging dog.
Logging dog.
We got the herb harvester dog. I want a mining dog and I want a logging dog.
True.
Like
that's why they're
honestly,
having logging issues. They're like they just can't get the function. It's
you figure you got the ore, that's more digging, and then what is the best stick if not the whole tree?
True.
Just like a pug comes in and tackles the tree to the ground, and that's it.
My God, that would be amazing. Or like a dachshund, like
some tiny breed of dog just tackles the tree.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Oh, apparently chat is saying they're not aware that they have resolved the UK login issues. Well, I was gonna say here's the forum post just in case. If you're watching this on YouTube, we will have links in the description. But just in case you do come across it, that's how you're going to take care of it. They need a dog finisher. Mark says, "Oh, I can see people raging over that." Like more
which
so
would be wonderful.
That's why people use the llama or the minstrel.
It's totally why I use the llama. It's so funny. Plus, it has the little music it dances to, rainbows.
It always makes me think it's a sab finisher, and then I'm like, no, it's the stupid llama.
Not stupid, awesome.
You know what I'm most worried about? I think Arena has the player base trained too well. We were talking about login issues, and now we're on a thing of like, what can they put in the gem store about this? Like, they're like, yes. Like now, chat's saying like have a gorilla smashing the rock and stuff. I'm like, how did we get to gem store so quickly?
Skill.
Yeah.
Oh, Arena Nut.
Well, that's our time for today. Oh man.
But
right.
I mean, any other thoughts on has it troubled you guys at all? I mean,
no, when
I
got
haven't had
home,
issues.
No.
But
it was happening. Well, when it was happening, I was at work, I think. So when I got home, it looked okay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Age, you didn't tease like possibly doing a 24-hour stream when this started, did you?
No, not at all.
And when he canceled, they're like, it magically fixed.
Did not. I did not. I did not do anything, guys. Don't listen to them.
It's all Age's fault. Damn it.
This will follow me for the rest.
That would have
of
been
my
great
life.
if that would have been a bunch of comments after the "we're having issues with the login servers." There you go. That is good marketing. If you could have everybody respond, be like, "Oh, is Age doing another 24-hour live stream of Guild Wars 2?" Or there you go. That is like the goal for 2018. I want to see that when that happens.
Logging issues, Age.
Yeah. Yeah. See, chat's already on it. Blame Age.
Yes.
But
well, I mean, he does live in Canada, so.
Wait, what? What does Canada have to do with it?
and they
Blame
don't.
Canada?
I mean,
Oh,
I know
my
people that live in
Canada.
Paris.
Blame
that, you know-
Age.
It seems everything has gone wrong since Canada came along.
I like that line of logic. He lives in Canada, but they don't.
Doesn't matter. We're blaming Age, so therefore we're blaming Canada. It works.
Oh man.
Womp womp.
Somehow I feel like we're a hop, skip, and a jump away from politics. So moving quickly along. Also this week we found out a lot of people were hoping and excited for maybe this Tuesday we were gonna get a trailer for Living Story Season 2. Then 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is usually right when it rolls out. We don't get anything, and everybody's like, no. But fear not, we actually have an update. It might not be the one you were hoping for, but actually Mike Z went on the forums and talked about episode 2 and said we are fast approaching the end of our 2 to 3 month cadence window for Living World episodes. And this morning we were hoping to unveil the episode 2 trailer along with the announcement of its release date. However, as we were prepping the episode for launch, we discovered issues that we want to take additional time to address to make sure it lives up to our standards. Once we have nailed down the last few details started the process for moving the build to live, and are confident when the episode will launch, we will release the trailer. Thank you for patience and bearing with us as we've put the finishing touches on episode 2. And he says, we look forward to playing the next chapter of the Living Story or the Living World with all of you once it is released. So kind of a bummer that, it's like, we were supposed to get it, but I mean, I do have to give credit to the community and everything. It's like, at least there has been a nice swell of support of at least they're talking to us and letting us know, which, awesome.
Also, I mean, hopefully if it's something that they just discovered like recently, it's something of the scale that it will only be like a week or maybe 2 delay as opposed to being a huge delay.
And Mithrin, I hope it's not something that shady. But I don't know even if they have. Do they have a testing system? Like, do they just invite people in to test like that for just regular? I know they do it for raid stuff. They invite some of the top end raiding guilds to test that. Do they have just like a general purpose one?
I don't know if they do this still, but I think like 2-3 years ago they would hire like QA testers who live around the area to just come test the game.
They still have a QA department, and they work with a company, and they have a couple of QA people who work for ArenaNet specifically, but then they also work with the QA company that tests not only for them but other companies as well. So they still have that.
Do they still have the people that come in if they live around the area?
I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure on their setup anymore, really. So
Guild Wars 2 had a test crew. They do not anymore.
But yeah,
Necriox, that would be the worst bug.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good that they're letting us know. It's really helping that transparency thing and the communication that we've all been begging and asking for. And I'm really glad that there wasn't. At least I haven't seen as much backlash of like, you guys are failures. You didn't, hit the 2 to 3 month cycle. Like, I'm quitting and blah, blah, blah. Like, I really didn't see that anywhere. It was more like, hey, at least they let us know. And
yeah, I feel like if they hadn't said anything and just let the date go by, we would have seen that.
Yeah.
mean,
Not to mention, oh, sorry, go ahead, Age.
I was just gonna say, technically, they're still within the 3-month cadence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Given the holidays and everything. So, I mean,
Well, I
this
mean,
is-
if you take the holidays out of it, yeah.
Like this is what, the 2 month of the 2 to 3 months mark?
I
it
don't
came
remember
out-
when the last one came out.
Wasn't
But
it?
still,
Wasn't it like the end of November, like early December was the last one, and then it led right into Winter's Day?
yeah. Either way, I look at it this way: is with their cadence going on, even like, yeah, it sucks, but it stings less because, I mean, hell, even Path of Fire hit pretty quickly after the end of Living
Yeah.
Story for Heart of Thorns.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, Chad is
Eh?
saying it will be 3 months on the 26th. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, I think that was like their 2 to 3 month goal, and I think like what you guys are saying and like what I've heard people say in the past is like they have hit the mark on the 2 month thing a lot of the time too. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, we gotta give them the benefit of the doubt here. It's like, especially it's like they're letting us know, and it's to make it so it's not broken when it comes out, because that would be horrible, more horrible than them delaying it is,
Yeah.
you know, oh, here's the thing, yeah, not like this thing's breaking the whole game or something, like, or you know, whatever
Yeah.
the bug is or issue.
Yep.
So
But-
trailer next week.
Hopefully.
maybe.
Fingers crossed.
I guess it depends on the issue, but I would assume next week, if not the week after.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, like, if it's any longer than that, then it had to have been like a major bug that was breaking something underlying or something.
And Ada, you have a point. I do agree that, like, it's if this was something that was happening constantly, that they were missing their windows constantly, then
Mhm.
yes, it is a faith issue. It makes it hard for us to believe in the developers getting the content out. But they have been pretty consistent, all things considered. Once Mo said they were moving to this development cadence, they've been
Mhm.
fairly consistent with it.
And yeah, like
I
I
think
said,
there's
they were
been-
hitting like, it's not like they were always squeaking out like at the 3 month mark. They were hitting like 2 months for the majority of them, if not like, you know, for a lot of them. I mean, so
And-
Yeah, 2.5.
yeah,
and
so
jumping
it's
on
like
them
for me,
for-
it's like
for
in my
one
mind,
late
it's like they can
window.
bank up time. It's like, okay, you know, they can go over a little bit of like 3 months. Like it'd be sad if it went to like 4 months, but you know, it's
I mean, given the holidays too, like I would exclude that bit, because that's not time that they're actually working. So I think really they're just around the 3-month mark. So I think it's fine.
well, and you're saying like, and I've seen this on Reddit and stuff. I mean, you're saying every Discord it was like saying like, where is it? For the last like since January, I've seen people saying that, you know, for like on Reddit and stuff. It's like, do you think we're gonna get a trailer this week? It's like, are you crazy? Like,
That, like, and honestly, Ada, I think that's a problem with expectations of the game consumption. Now, if this was like, if we were playing a game published by EA, no,
Mhm.
I would jump on them for literally every single failure.
Yeah.
But
But EA is like, so
and they have a
bad.
huge track record of being completely shitty at actually putting out games.
Mhm.
But I think that there are companies that are held to too high of a standard in
Mhm.
gaming. Like I won't say that I hold ArenaNet to like a low bar, but them missing one window and actually communicating about it, I don't see any reason to get angry yet.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
yeah, it's almost kind of like the idea that like whole like the Superman issue. It's like when Superman goes up against an enemy, he has to be perfect all the time, but the villain only has to win once for it to be because they always go after the. It's like they're
Yeah.
they're missing one time. I mean, it's and like you guys are saying, they're letting us know. It'd be a slightly different story if it was like there was just silence. but they're giving us a heads up, and
I think if they
hopefully
failed
maybe
on the
next week they're like,
release-
oh hey, we're still having an issue or something. Maybe just like a quick check-in, or maybe Tuesday rolls around and the trailer's there or something. I don't know.
yeah,
At least we
I
have
think
an
it'd be
idea and not
worse.
just sitting here twiddling our thumbs like, well.
What was that age?
I think it'd be worse if they failed on the release of the actual episode.
Yeah.
So, I'd rather they just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. A delay is better than a bad release.
Yep. I totally agree. And I mean, we're talking about these time frames. Oh wait, they actually communicated the delay, which is progress for Arena. Yeah, that's what I agree. Like, they're really trying to do that whole transparency thing and communication, which that's why it's like I really hope there's very little to hopefully, ideally, no, like people going, I can't believe you. This is the worst thing you've. It's like, no, we're like, and like I said, it seems like overall the community is like, hey, thanks for letting us know. It's
Yeah.
I feel like I need to get glasses at this point.
you should, and then we could see if we could get a sponsorship with like, eyeglass manufacturer.
Could put on my gunners.
Oh. Yeah, but like we said, I'm honestly glad that they let us know, and I don't want to say unlike some of the other things on the forums, like the next topic where I'm slightly worried about, because it really feels like they're gonna miss their next time frame on the forum chat thing, which if you don't know, they talked about it. What was it? 2 months ago now, or where they wanted to kind of do like Reddit AMAs, but on their own forums.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Oh, the first one's going to be February," and if you don't notice, I think Wednesday is the last day in February. So, yeah. But they did give us a little bit of an update on a Reddit post. Gail Gray responded saying, hey, thanks for asking. I'm working on getting a date set, and we'll have more info as soon as we do that. So, which once again, I'm just, and this was in the past week, and I'm just like, ooh, I mean, it might be scheduling conflict, and maybe this whole, living story thing that possibly went wrong probably didn't help with scheduling.
Yeah, I mean, people who might have been available otherwise are not available now because they're working on this,
Yeah. But,
because you don't just press the button.
I still don't think they released like what the topic would be, right?
No, but I'm sure that like they had to have already had like a topic set for the first one or something, like planning wise. Otherwise, if they didn't, there was no hope of it happening in February. Like, there's no way that would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and they did respond. It was just a quick little response, just letting us know that they're still aware that they want to do it, but yeah,
it seems like literally the only thing that's a problem here is just getting scheduling done, which
yeah,
if things are happening quickly, it's kind of hard to get done.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, hopefully we get something by for February. Seems unlikely. I mean, if I was a betting man,
hey, you still got a few days.
if I was a betting man, time's on my side here of the days left. I'm just saying. But I mean, yeah, they could just be like, oh, hey, we're gonna do it Tuesday, or because that's usually like a big content type thing. That would be a nice, But who knows? Hopefully, we'll know here shortly, or otherwise, it's gonna be the March AMA.
Yeah, hopefully people don't get too combative about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be the worst thing to do, because it's a cool idea, but let's not yell at them right out of the gate.
Well, I mean, if they can do it, it would be a good thing, because one of the complaints about the current AMAs is they do them as soon as a patch drops, which like gives nobody any time to really have a good question,
Yeah.
I just thought, I hope it's not. I hope that they go the other extreme of, because it's like, you know, that we've always had a complaint of, why do you do the AMA like literally, like you're saying, literally on the launch day when, and you're doing it. I understand why you're doing it while you're at work, because you're at work. It's easier. But so was like everybody else, and I mean, except for the European, but you're severely limiting your player base. But what if they go? What if they do have the AMA on Tuesday and go, hey, you guys just saw the trailer, so what do you want to ask us about the Living Story episode 2? It's like, no one has gotten to play it yet. Like, so what if they go the other extreme?
Technically, I think they could do that, and it'd still amount to the same questions, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Probably.
But I don't know. For me, like, you know, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the communication and like if they miss this 3-month mark. But I don't know, when setting up stuff, I can understand having a shaky start and maybe every once in a while like having like the issue that they're having with the Living Story. But like, you know, because, you know, the first time you do an event or something, that's where you're probably truly working out the kinks and the bugs and the issues, and like what it sounds like they're having an issue with the date of, you know, getting all the people. So hopefully after this first one and maybe the second one, then it's more smooth sailing. Don't encourage that idea. I think it's a great idea. But any final thoughts on the forum chat AMA thing being delayed?
Not really. I mean, I didn't ask a question, which I do have time to think of now, so that's good. But yeah, we'll just wait and see. I just want to see how well it will do.
I was gonna say, since we're so close, can someone in chat, can they check like the Guild Wars 2 forums and find out it's not happening like right now? Because that would be our luck.
Oh God,
that would be hilarious.
But
we could live ask questions on the forum then.
Yeah. Can't be mad either. Plus, making a smart or related question is hard. Yeah, that is true, and that's why I was hopeful that they would give us what the topic was or something. But
yeah, having a topic ahead of time would be helpful.
Yeah,
I think the plan was to just like get in the questions, and then they would bring in related people. Or something like that.
That seems harder. Like, I feel like they just need to be like, okay, we'll have these people available, so we'll talk about, I don't know, Living Story this time, ask questions, or like PvP or whatever.
Like this is the World v. World team, like, you know, ask them.
I also have to agree with Netco. I don't like the new forums.
Really?
Oh, really?
I'm not a fan.
I haven't really used them.
The format is kind of awkward. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't.
Is it still better than the old ones? Because the old ones were awful.
I wouldn't know. I didn't use those either because I didn't like their setup.
I was gonna say, I think that kind of says something about the forums. Like, is when the info about the episode 2 thing hit, I didn't see that anywhere for like, because I think they posted it like 7 o'clock that like Monday night maybe, and I didn't see anybody mentioning it till like Tuesday evening. Like,
yeah,
it's like I just don't know if like people just don't enjoy going to the forums or.
That's interesting, because I mean I used the old forums a lot. I was on there a lot, and I hated it. It was awful. The whole system was just awful, and I don't know why I haven't used the new ones at all. So I have no idea.
It feels honestly like they should have just nixed their forums and gone to Reddit, because they're also very active on Reddit as well.
Yeah, well, people have been saying that too, but I also like, I don't know, there's format issues with Reddit, and I mean, I just hate Reddit.
Yeah, so I don't like Reddit either for the exact same reason. It's just I don't like the format.
And there's something to be said for having your own forums and posting on there, but you also need to make it a place where people want to go.
And apparently that's news to me. The World v. World team, they streamed World v. World on Thursday, so that's awesome.
I was unconscious on Thursday, when I got home. So like, I've been having a rough week.
Aw.
But for the forums, I actually kind of like it because you can actually use the search feature.
Gasp.
So
Hey, to be fair, you couldn't do that in the first one that well.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it is an improvement.
The way you search on the old forums is that you typed special keywords in Google and then your search option, and then you get to the forums, which was utterly ridiculous.
It was awful.
Wow.
I think that the new forms are probably a little better than the old ones because, like, you just need to understand how bad the old ones were. Like, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
That's never a good sign when you're like, hey, what do you think of our new forums? And people are like, oh, I don't like this and this. But like, well, comparatively,
It's still better.
I mean, hey, it's improvement. It's a change in a positive direction. Like that's probably the most important part, way to look at it. But any final thoughts on the chat? I think I already asked that, but but like chat was saying, the WvW team, but it's interesting because apparently there's more profession changes coming to PvP and WvW only. So it sounds like we're gonna get more splits. So yeah. And if chat wants to, here, I'll post it in the chat. But if you guys see certain things that you guys definitely want us to talk about, let us know. But the high level goals with it were reduce the influence of passive traits in PvP, not WvW. And they want to do that by passive skills, make the game less skillful. The prevalence of passives is a common competitive player's complaint in PvP. They wanted to increase build diversity, and that by decreasing the power of some of the more dominant builds, we hope to give increased viability to builds that previously were pushed out by these dominant specs. We're also increasing power levels in some targeted areas that previously were underperforming, and also reduce the effectiveness of offensive instant cast skills and traits. So instant cast spells don't give players an opportunity to respond. While we don't want to remove combos utilizing instant cast abilities, we wanted to reduce the impact they have. And also, generally, they wanted to deal with the Rune of Surging has been removed from the PvP build panel, and the Magi Amulet has been removed from the PvP build panel. And do note that these are things they're just talking about. They're not already implemented, but, they want to implement and they want everybody's feedback.
I don't think Surging and Magi's are really all that big of a deal.
Let me check Magi.
Like, Magi, I think, is a power healing power. Vitality, I want to say.
Healing power, vitality, precision.
Okay. Maybe that's a problem with druids, but I think nixing, like, the druids got a lot of healing power coefficient drops in these nerfs. And in PvP, I think that will fix a lot of it, because it was kind of like when I was fighting Weavers during 0 to Hero, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Wednesdays. Then they'd hit the Water 2 on Sword, Riptide, and they'd have all of their health back. So that was a problem there, and druids were an issue. But their thing for passive traits, they're not really doing anything to them other than increasing the ICDs, which really feels like a very poor way to increase skill in PvP. At that point, it's just, okay, do I set a timer? Like, do I smack my phone and start a timer every time I get into combat with somebody just so I can, time my bursts again? It's not great. It's not a good idea. That this is something that, yes, Wispy, tune in for many defeats. It's just been that kind of time in ranked lately. I don't know.
Isn't
But
season almost over?
March 12th. So kind of.
So soon. Yeah.
Just a lot of people being very angry for no real reason. And
So
I don't.
PvP.
Well, like I've said, like we talk about before, is Guild Wars 2 has one of the more friendly environments in an MMO, and I've said it, that extends to PvP as well. But it's just been getting kind of crazy as of late, and I don't know why. It's really bad. But a lot of the changes are a lot of power coefficient drops, like pulmonary impact for thieves, which needed to happen.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm okay with that. That's not
Well,
what I'm mad about.
I didn't realize what the power coefficient on pulmonary impact was. It was 2.8.
Wow.
280% power scaling on a debuff that they can trigger with just spamming pistol 4.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's they didn't touch the base damage. They just hit the power coefficient, but I mean that can crit too. So
yeah. I mean that makes sense though. Not to do the base damage, but to do that.
A lot of the changes I think are fine. I don't like the let's just tune up the ICDs. It's bad. I think it's poor balancing. If you're going to make passive skills less impactful, get rid of passive skills in PvP and rework them to be something different in PvP. I know that's a serious skill split because traits usually are just numbers changes from mode to mode, but if you don't like passive traits, don't have them.
And Chad's saying like, oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was going to talk about Zekriox's point because I read that thread too. Is there's also a lot of buffs in here for underperforming stuff, and a lot of PvE players are like, that stuff's underperforming in PvE too. Just make those changes across the board. And
I wonder why they. Well, all right, they might not want to because they'd be afraid maybe for raids and stuff, throwing things off.
I totally see at least some of these buffs moving into PvE. It's just PvP has a lot of build iteration that happens very quickly. My own Hound of Balthazar. It happens a lot faster in competitive formats. So at this point, unless something is proven to be really good really fast, raiders don't pick it up because they go with the tried and true. So I think PvP and WW will iterate through this very quickly, and then they'll see, okay, this will be helpful to PvE because this was an X% buff to something we don't see ever, and it might be competitive. So. And yeah, Netco, I know. Like, I don't like those kind of skill splits either, where something functions completely different. But it's one of those things where it's like you have passive skills in your game. So either accept that or get rid of them.
Well, that was the thing. Like, for a long time, they didn't want it. They didn't want there to be a switch because originally they were like, you know, it'll be confusing for the player if your skills work one way in PvE and then you go in PvP and it works a different way. So I have to imagine since they totally changed their mind about that and made a split, that there was something that they realized that was making it too complex for balancing both.
It's still just numbers, though. Like it's cooldowns and damage and healing. It's still just numbers.
The way things interact and are used is different because in PvP you're playing against other people, and so you have different interactions that you don't necessarily see in PvE at all. So there's sometimes the changes that you need to make in PvP so that things won't be overpowered. But if you make those changes in PvP, so things won't be overpowered. But if you make those changes, it would adversely hurt PvE or vice versa. You know,
that's one of the things I hope for Renegades was that they'd finally make the spirits untargetable, because you will never see a Kala Revenant in PvP or WW.
Yeah.
Because their skills are useless.
Yeah, which is so sad because it's a really cool.
It's a really cool spec, but like I see a spirit, I'm playing my ranger, I click on the spirit, I hit long before I click back to the target I was focusing. Like Or like as a warrior, if you're playing a spell, like a warrior in general, you can just throw out dazes left and right.
Yeah.
So it's just crack the thing over the head, go back to DPSing the right target. And they only have, what, maybe a 2-3 second uptime?
Yeah, they don't last that long.
So a 1.5 second daze, and you've cut the skill's effectiveness in half.
Yeah. I would much rather they have I'd much rather they be untargetable and robustful in PvP and do less effectiveness rather than no.
I mean, that would make sense too.
That too, Zekriox.
That yeah, they really need to change that. It's really crippling.
What's
I feel like
immobilize? Is that
resistance corrupts the corrupt table? Resistance goes to immobilize.
Yeah. Okay.
It's bad. Honestly, at this point, I think they should take resistance and turn it into a unique buff, like Alacrity used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the answer to Condi is resistance, but the primary Condi damage dealer in PvP right now, Scourge, can just say, you don't have resistance. What's the point? Like, as a warrior, like when I play my warrior, a warrior's defense to Condi is resistance.
Mm-hmm.
They thought the warriors had too much resistance, so they cut back on what you could apply to yourself, which I'm totally cool with. I totally comprehend having smaller windows of power because resistance is very strong. But when they then have Scourges who can just say, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do that, it has to be like, I don't care, but on a very tight cooldown or something. Like, it can't just be.
Yeah, that's fine.
You say that, well, that's the thing that they did with resistance is sure they shortened the cooldown on Berserker stance, but it's still the same uptime percentage, but it's still a shorter window. It's more reactive than just, I'm going into a fight, let me hit Berserker stance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it should be reactive, but it shouldn't have a huge uptime. Like, you can't just, like, most of the time being like, I don't care. It doesn't affect me, you know?
And Zekriox, that's a good pun. Renegade spam resistance. I'm okay with that. But it's one of those things where it's like, I get the shortened uptime, but at this point, like, and you talk about cooldowns, Necros, or Scourges, and their shade skills.
Yeah.
F5 is a 30-second cooldown in these proposed changes.
Yeah. But I did hear some people saying that they're worried that this might bring about the Condi meta again, and I mean, do you guys think that this is grounds to?
It's already here. It never left.
Well,
the thing is, they nerfed a lot of power-specific things, and as far as I've seen, they've buffed Condi things.
Yeah, they're just further increasing it. Sorry. But yeah, it's which
like, I don't know what people are. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dale.
No, I was just gonna say I just don't know how people feel about that with furthering that gap in like PvP and War v World. I mean, especially when the goal was more build diversity.
I don't know. It's one of those weird things where it's like, you're gonna bring back the Condi meta. It's like, what are you talking about? The Condi meta never left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they actually just brought power back. Like I've been playing Power Soul Beast, and granted, people are complaining. It's like, how are you going to like introduce build diversity for Soul Beast when you give longbow and greatsword buffs? And it's like, okay, well, what other power weapons are there for a ranger? I mean, axe. They gave axe buffs, but axe is not really a PvP weapon. So,
see, and I'm kind of worried about like that statement, chat. Like, you like Condi because you really can't dodge it, like power attacks. Yeah, you're removing the skill from the.
You can dodge like the application of it, like depending on what the thing is.
And that's supposed to be the point, is that, you know, an individual hit
Mhm.
from Condi is the same damage as an individual hit from a power attack, but stretched out over like 3-5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's
But
fine.
the biggest problem that was happening was Condi bombing, where you can be like, have like 5 stacks of all the damaging conditions,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna walk away, and you're gonna die, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's usually, in most games, that's the balance of Condi. It's like, usually it takes time to apply all of that stuff, which gives you time to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's...
Not if you're a Scourge.
Well, but that's the problem
Yeah.
of what I'm saying. Like, that's where they need to make sure they go with that, because that's the only real good way to balance Condi, is because it's the difference between pure power and that, is that you can't just go boom, tons of damage. It takes actual time to do it, and
Yeah.
it should.
Like, if anything, that should be like almost like, I don't know, like not even that powerful, but like almost like an elite skill where you could actually do that, where it could have a long cooldown, because that just seems like you shouldn't just be able to do that so easily.
See, that's the thing, though, is like with Scourges, some of the Condi bombs Scourges could pull off, I would be okay with, if it didn't feel like they could do it literally every time you walked up to them to fight.
Yeah.
So that was the problem I had there.
Yeah, because I always think of it like how we used to talk about it, which, like, the elite skill, I think you, Jim, always used to say it would feel like the ultimate for a League of Legends character. It's like, I could see that being like, I'm turning all your boons into conditions as like an ultimate thing, but like you're saying, if it's like, yeah, I'm going to do it to you, and then do it to you, and then do it to you, it's like, that's a bit much.
Yeah. It just feels a little... It's hard to... It's oppressive. But at the same time, and the specific, like, one of the things that I've mentioned before is half the problem with Scourges are firebrands.
Mm-hmm.
Because Scourges can react to pressure because they have barrier. And the firebrands then are like, oh, let me heal you. And then all of that pressure that you just applied is then protected, and then they get their cooldowns back, and it's just cycling two people's cooldowns. I've seen a Scourge Firebrand combo hold a point against a whole team.
Working as intended.
And it could be that they were just really good playing together, but it didn't feel like they were doing anything particularly impressive with their combos. It just felt like, I'm using my abilities, and they weren't really working together. Also, because, you know, solo queue, I don't think they were queued together at all. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I worry that the problem with certain specs in PvP is not something they can balance out. Is that it's the fundamental class design, or the underlying design of a spec is the issue, not the numbers.
Yeah. I do like Mithrin's idea of the like almost like changing your HP orb to like oh, this is how much you're gonna take, kind of like what they started to do with the barrier thing, like it all like puts a thing over there so you can know, or like if you know there's healing regen coming in, or but I think that would be a nice addition to that, but but I mean, if anybody else has any particular professions they want to talk about, I think Age might want to talk about thief. But if Chad knows any, I mean, while Age talks about it. But Age, how's Thief gonna do if this goes through?
Okay. First, I want to talk about a few other things first. So for Warrior, Defy Pain, it was increased the cooldown from 60 seconds to 90 seconds in PP only. Defy Pain triggers Endure Pain, which which means you can't take damage for like 2 seconds. So it went from 2 seconds, you're invulnerable for 2 seconds, from 60 seconds to 2 seconds to 90 seconds.
What's the point?
Just remove Defy Pain. It's like what Malthana said, like some of these are just utterly useless at that point. Like you might as well just take something else. The other thing is, you want to scroll down here to Ranger. Signet of Stone, which pretty much does the same thing. They reduced the duration from 6 seconds to 3 seconds in PvP and World vs. World. Reduced the cooldown from 80 seconds to 40 seconds in PvP and World vs. World. I don't understand. Anyway.
Well, I think to rebut, since I've been playing a lot of that, there is no trait for that.
There is no trait for that
in Ranger. I think the problem they were having is people chaining like the stance with the passive for longer uptime. But they basically kept the uptime the exact same.
Yeah, I guess
because it's 6 to 3 seconds and 80 seconds to 40 seconds for the cooldown. So,
also, I've been seeing a lot of people saying Celestial Avatar increased the cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds in PvP and World vs. World. I say good. I have no remorse whatsoever for Rangers. The reason being is when I roam and I fight a Ranger, this is what they do. And whenever I get some good damage off, all they will do is just pull Celestial Avatar, use one of their healing skills, pop it off, which makes them stealth up. And then if they need to, they'll heal up more with their staff, or they'll just stealth up with their staff and smoke scale. And then repeat that process over and over until I die. It is highly infuriating to not have enough time to do a significant amount of damage. And when I actually do a significant amount of damage, Signet of Stone pops up, they use their base heal, Celestial Avatar, and do it all over again. It's highly frustrating.
Aw.
It is. No, he's right. I deal with it in PvP all the time.
It's awesome.
Now, in a World vs. World Zerg setting, I understand if this is very impactful. I do understand that. No. Anyway, so thief thing is what everyone wants to hear of me rant about.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine, right? Nothing wrong.
So basically from their goals, they said they wanted to reduce the influence of passive traits, I understand, for PvP and increase build diversity. But for a thief, they're doing it, I don't think they're doing it the right way. So what they did is that they reduced the damage on dagger auto attacks and sword auto attacks. What this does is that means you're not doing as much damage, so maybe you should, like, I don't know, use another weapon. But that's gonna hurt a lot because sword is meta right now. It probably won't be because of acrobatics getting hit. I'll talk about that in a bit. Dagger has always been the bread and butter. Dagger pistol has always been bread and butter, but that's gonna get hit a little bit. What they did was buff Heartseeker and they buff Shadow Shot, which is the dagger 2 and 3, which, well, 3 with pistol, which I have no idea why they buffed those. Doesn't make any sense to me because they were fine the way they were.
Wasn't the point of Shadow Shot just to close gap with the target?
Yeah, close gap
that's the
blind, pretty much. And acrobatics, they pretty much hit all the passive traits in PvP for PvP, which honestly makes the line worthless again, in my opinion. So you're better off taking off something else. And I've been saying it for years, just rework the acro line. It is not. It was okay the way it was because you use it in certain situations, but now it's just worthless again, in my opinion. So,
well, wasn't it just like I think you said they gutted it for Daredevil, basically?
Yes, the first time around they did get it for Daredevil, but then they buffed it in such ways they gave it different traits or different abilities in some of the traits, which made it okay to use in certain situations. But now they're just it's not useful anymore, in my opinion. I'd much rather take something else.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just delete your thief.
No, they're just gonna force me to play Berserker, so I'm just gonna one-shot everyone now.
To be honest, I'm glad they increased the cooldown on Panic Strike because that shit's annoying.
That's fine. Everything else I'm perfectly okay with.
It's just that.
Just those 3 things I mentioned.
And it's some serious, like instant reflexes, 40 seconds to 90 seconds. Pain response, 16 seconds to 40 seconds. Hard to catch, 45 seconds to 90 seconds.
Well,
It's
maybe they're going really far and they'll inch it back some.
Well, again, these are all still just suggested. This isn't set in stone, but that's a little it's a little nuts.
Yeah,
I think one of the problems I have with that is that the thieves have these kinds of defensive options or evasive options, but also still put out a crap ton of damage. Like, I think that's more the problem I have with it, is that even if you are super perfect at catching a thief in a vulnerable window, JK Shadow Step, dodge, stealth, heal up.
It's perfectly, and that means a thief will expend those options just to live, which means you do have a window to kill them. But I understand, on top of that, acrobatics being annoying, and I totally understand that, but just rework acrobatics in that case. Like,
I mean, it's one of those things where it's, again, I also have a lot of problems with Shortbow 5. I still think Shortbow 5 is way too strong in any kind of PvP. I know Zekriox, they have low HP, but they also have the mobility options to disengage reliably from a fight and stay away from you to regain all of their resources and then just be like, I'm going to get halfway across the map 3 times as fast as anybody else could, decap your point, disappear before you can get to me, decap the other point, and you're just, Benny Hilling with me around the map, which I get is the point of Thief, but I feel like the reward for catching a thief is not as it should be for the impact that a good thief can have on a game. I'm not saying, like, make them explode if I manage to land a cripple on them, but I'm saying that I feel that the reward for getting a thief to slip up is not as much as it should be.
Instant death. No, I'm sorry. As soon as the thief makes a mistake, they die.
Yeah, I was saying, they're just trying to make you more skillful. That's their goal. They just want better for you.
Like a Dark Souls, I honestly wouldn't mind that because it would make me better.
Well, no, Mithrin's suggestion about ammo on Shortbow 5 is something I could get behind.
Yeah, bringing the ammo system, yeah.
I could get behind that.
Oh,
well, it's expensive, so it's not really worth.
And Zekriox, I get that. Like, if the thief is supposed to be like the setup, but it doesn't feel like thieves have to do particularly a lot to do the setup.
Set up in which way?
Like, if you set up the ambush and you get rewarded by insta-popping someone, it doesn't feel like thieves have to really do all that much to get the crazy burst of damage.
Like, it's an easy thing to get ready for.
Okay. I can see that. I usually just pop people when they're like half health. That's when I take advantage of people.
Right, and that's fine. Like, that's the whole point of plus oneing a fight is you pop in, you don't play fair, you pick a low target, you kill them, and then you get the hell out. But
yeah,
for shame.
For shame.
That's why I play a Guardian. Fair fight, honor, all that stuff.
Guardians do not play fair right now. When a firebrand doesn't even bother to attack me when I walk onto the point with him, because he knows I can't do jack shit to him, I have a problem.
As I say, it's been a while since I've done SPVP, but are Guardians still all about the traps, or is that gone?
No. It's actually very rare to see a Dragon Hunter in PvP.
They just burn you now.
Great.
They just burn you as a firebrand.
The problem with fire, not even burn, it's all tank. It's all tank firebrand because, like I said, there was a Char firebrand standing on point. They didn't even move when I walked up to them. Like, didn't even turn to look at me. They didn't target me because when you click on someone to target them, the character's head turns to look at the target.
Yeah.
Didn't even care about my existence.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I will say generally for the passive traits thing, it's I don't think I think generally a lot. I read through a few of the comments people made, and either some people were okay with some of the things, but for more or less, it's just why are we getting these damage nerfs here, here, and here, or why is this getting nerfed? Because like it just makes it utterly useless in terms of the passive skills. So in some cases, I think maybe some of the passes are okay, but some of the passes just need to get reworked in what they do, or just removed and replaced with something else.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on these possible changes? All right. Well, I think the important thing is do let your voice be heard about these. Like we said, these aren't coming Tuesday or something. They were just throwing these ideas out there. They want your guys' feedback, so definitely do so.
And make it constructive.
Yes,
not angry.
Please.
I did.
Nice.
I did. It took a lot out of me, but I did.
I was gonna say, Age, do you feel better getting that all out now? Like it felt like you were penting that all up inside when you. Wow, look, he's like chewing gum. He's like, I need to. Do you feel good releasing all that tension? Like, you
feel
say
like
you
you're
need a
trying
drink.
to make a segue here, but
I'm not making a segue. No.
I feel like you are.
No. But like you said, you need a drink. You need to reward yourself. You know, maybe
think
even
Theo
take a
would
trip
sell
to the
out
gem
like that?
store.
Yes, I think you would.
Perfect timing as he's. Oh. Well, speaking of the gem store, thank you always to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. First up, the only new thing we got this week from the gem store is the mini Lucky Lantern puppy for 400 gems. And it is a mini, add it to your mini wardrobe. That's, basically what the minis do.
It's great. He runs around with a little lantern, and he's like, it's cute.
And is clearly a very good dog.
Yes, he's a very good dog.
But
I got
that's a pretty
nothing.
good point, chat. Like, yeah, they kind of threw that in when the event ended. So, but it's so you can remember the good times you had.
They have limited space. The gem store can't function with items on it.
Oh,
As
Yeah,
me
you
and
can't pick it
Age
up for. I would say you can't pick up for 400 gems, but I mean, I'd like to hear where you guys stand on, where you all stand on it. Just, I mean,
Wait, it's 400?
I think we know where I stand on it. It is 400 gems.
And you already bought it, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, Robin, you would recommend it then?
Yeah, he's wonderful.
It's
my
a
new
dog.
favorite. He's replaced Ho-Ho-Tron. He's now my pet.
Oh,
It's a dog. Of course Arlie would recommend this.
well,
The only thing that she could recommend harder would be a Corgi Mini.
Yeah, I was upset it wasn't the corgi I've been asking for years, but we're getting there. We're at least in the right species.
I think there is a mini corgi puppy.
No.
Mm-hmm.
There is
There's
not.
a fox, and there's one other one that it kind of has like dimensions similar to a corgi, but it's not a corgi.
Okay. I'm not going to mess with the expert. So.
I like chat. The fatal flaw is it's not a cat. We don't need more cats.
No,
It's already
too many
polluting the
guys.
instance, the home instance. Like,
And trust me, I don't even need to know that a Corgi Mini exists because there will be this resonance on Twitter between Arlie and my wife.
Both going, ah!
And then Krista will just immediately log on, buy it, and not regret a single moment of spending money on it.
No. They could make it like 1,000 gems, and I would still buy it.
Please don't.
Yeah, it
don't
would
make
be
it
sad.
gems.
It'd be really sad, but I would still buy it.
I'd rather see it as a jackal mount.
ArenaNet, she does not speak for everyone. That won't work on everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
for the jackal loves a corgi.
and it doesn't even exist, and she's already like that. Arena, actually, Arena, don't put it out because you might kill her. Like, she's.
I mean, I could totally see them doing it for the 2K mount skin, but I'd buy it.
God. Oh yeah.
I'd buy it.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
Chad is
I'm
right. They did
tearing
the
up.
Cormier
I'm
cat.
so excited about that thought. That's amazing. I want that so much.
The day that Arlie that comes out, Arlie's just gonna tweet like just random words and numbers and just not be incoherent
Just
whatsoever.
Just slapping the keyboard.
But yeah,
Now let's move
Zachary
away
Ox-
from the dog.
Well, I was gonna say,
So we could-
Zachary Ox, I think me, Age, and Jim probably have the same mentality of the first part of never cared for minis just because they really don't have a function in there. Like for me, it's always the first thing that goes. It's the first thing that gets called, and it's like.
I will say though that in my Black Lion chest purchases, I did get some miniature claim tickets, and I did get the golden pig. So I did get that one.
Nice
Good job.
choice.
The only mini that Dale will ever recommend.
Yeah. The purchase, yes, because I think. Well, I got that one that came with the two-factor authenticator. That one's kind of nice, but really don't have to pay for that. You pay with peace of mind that your account's okay.
You know, Mithrin, that's a fantastic idea. Is Polymock is a mobile game?
See, like, I like conceptually that, but I know I'm gonna have the same problem I have that I do in WoW with their pet fighting. Is I feel bad making the pets fight. It makes me sad.
What about if they did a Pokemon Go thing, and this is how you now collect your minis for the game?
I don't
You take your
play
phone out.
Pokemon Go. I just
Yeah, but
walk
this gets you
around and collect
minis.
them.
This gets you minis in Guild Wars 2.
You
Would
go
make me
around
sad.
catching.
I don't want to make them fight.
No, Arlie, you
No.
don't have to fight at all. You just walk around catching new minis.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pokemon
okay,
Go,
okay.
you just throw the Pokeball at them. So I don't know. You'd have to throw the Black Line chest at them. I don't
I
know.
would.
It doesn't catch them, it just knocks them out so you can collect them.
Lord.
Oh boy.
I would say like throw the egg,
Yeah,
that they
that's
come
what
in.
I was just thinking. The egg. Yeah.
That's probably better.
Yeah, probably.
More PG.
Well, you don't want people to like carry that over. They're throwing like a chest at their like animal.
I just don't want PETA to go nuts. That's all.
Oh, they do it anyway.
I mean, they start off nuts, so.
Well, some of the returning stuff at discounted rates: the Dragon Mask skin for 210 gems, which is 30% off; the Phoenix Kite Glider for 280 gems, which is 30% off; and the Lion Mask skin for 210 gems, which is also 30% off. Would you recommend any of those in particular?
Well, you already recommend the Dragon Mask, wouldn't you?
I was gonna say I recommend the Dragon Mask.
Yeah.
I like the kite glider personally. Just
I
that.
have the Kite Glider as well. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Also returning are the Infinite Unbound Magic Gathering Tools for 2,700 gems, and that's
You should get them.
yeah, that's all three of them together, and it's like normally if you buy individually unlimited gathering tools, it's 1,000 each, so you are getting a discount. But it's only 3 days left, and the nice thing is, when you do gather with these, you do have a chance of getting Unbound Magic as well, which was basically one of the currencies.
Chance. I'm pretty sure I get.
Oh, is it
them
always?
every single time? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically the currency throughout all of Living Story Season 3 maps, which you can really get like a lot of the like extended set accessories fairly easier than the alternative.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say it's especially nice if you're like me and you don't like just like going out to gather Unbound Magic. This way, you just do what you're normally doing and you get it anyway. So, for me, that works because I hate like going out to gather a specific thing and just doing that. I like to combination things. So.
Mm-hmm. And I really do like the animation on this when they first showed it off. Like I think they showed it. I remember Dolphy showing it off on a char, and like it like literally like ascends into the air and like it goes like Vegeta on it and just like starts like blah 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 blah, blah like one of the nodes or something. I was like, okay, like I think it like literally channels like the unbound magic and like shoots basically at the thing. So it's a pretty cool animation for.
Basically, when you saw all of the char, like the massive influx of char with Super Saiyan hair, that's when they came out the first time.
Yeah. But so definitely pick those up before they go away or no longer on sale or all that fun stuff. I'd get those if we could pick animations and effects separately. I've always said if they did skins over them, like you could pay for the skins because I already have 2 sets of unlimited infinite gathering tools. It's really a tough sell.
You have 2 sets. How cute.
Yeah, I know. You have like 11, I think. It's like something.
No, it's 5 or 6. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But you missed the dog.
I did miss the dog. I haven't bought it yet because, like I said, I have 5 or 6 of them already, but I'm still debating about it.
Make a Corgi one, Arena. There you go. Corgi set has a chance to give you Corgi gray items. Like it's just junk, but she'll buy it.
All of fur.
Yeah, there you go.
She'll never sell it.
Mountain of fur.
Her inventory will be full of it. She'll be like, I ain't selling this stuff.
Yes, despite the fact that outside of the game it would kill her.
Yeah.
We need a gathering overhaul with masteries. Hinting traps, fishing.
That's after show talk again. Definitely.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that, Mithrin, because I want to go because that's a great idea.
But let's move away from Gem Store and onto Community Corner. So this week we have a couple things we want to share with you from the community, a little bits of news. First up, Guild Mag. If you're not familiar with it, it's I don't think they have done their podcast for a while, but they're more well known for they're basically a community site that's does like articles and like kind of opinion pieces on like Guild Wars 2, like fashion things, whether it's talking about lore or actually the news itself. Or more familiar if you were around, pretty much leading up to December, we were talking about they every year kind of do a physical Guild Wars 2 magazine. There you go.
There you go.
And we always say it's well made and all that stuff, but they're looking for more people to join the team to help, fill that and fill their, other articles on their website. And so, they sent, oh, good.
I was going to say, I took a look and they have a lot of different positions that they're looking to fill. So it's not just writers or editors. There's other stuff too. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I'm going to throw in chat the tweet they sent out and also the website where they're talking more about it. So, if you are interested, it sounds like they have all different levels of experience and stuff like that. So, if you are just starting out or fairly starting out, it's definitely a, good experience to, build up that knowledge yourself and stuff like that. So, I wish kind of Aaron was here or around. Maybe if he's watching this on YouTube, maybe he can give his insight because I know, he's writing or wrote for Guild Mag. I don't know how available he is nowadays, but maybe he is able to share his thoughts and stuff like that. Maybe you can use him as a reference, get it in, unless he burned a bridge. Which, knowing Aaron, because I know he might be watching, I want to make that joke.
Only if you burn it fashionably would he be okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Basically, well, the writing process I went for the magazine is just basically you would write your article, you write your topic. They would help you like discuss what type of topic you want to write about. You write topic, you get it edited, you get feedback, you re-edit it, and you get more feedback, and maybe you go through one more process before it actually gets published. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting your thoughts out and and they help you get it out in a easy to understand actual writable writing fashion type of deal. So
Yeah, it sounds like it's a good starting one, especially like because like you're saying, you can kind of write about what you want, like because sometimes I've always heard that with like some writing journalism stuff where it's like you don't get to pick and choose all the time ideally, but so
It depends.
yeah, it really depends on what place you're going to, but so definitely sounds like it's a great starting spot.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the Guild Mag?
They're looking for streamers too.
If you apply, be prepared for whatever a test related to whatever it is you're applying for, just so they can assess your skills. It's not unusual.
They might need samples. Like if you're writing, they might want like a sample writing. If you're a streamer, probably like a video of you streaming for things like that.
Yeah, so if you're gonna be writing, dust off that Twilight fanfic.
Please don't. Please don't.
Oh dear God.
No. No.
Dude, do you have something you want to tell us?
Yeah, I was the one that wrote 50 Shades of Grey.
No.
Sorry.
Oh.
You physically hurt him. That's great.
Malthanis is in pain now.
You know why I was able to hurt you so easily, Malthanis?
Oh God.
Because I used a meta build.
Yeah.
See, I'm still doing it. I know the rotation and everything, thanks to Snow Crows. But I mean, we talked about it last week, like the Snow Crows benchmark, but they've kind of popped back up in the kind of news around everything. Apparently, someone on their behalf, I believe. I think they said later on that they weren't like part of Snow Crows or anything like that, but they posted and talked about that Snow Crows has a Patreon and was asking if people could donate to it and stuff like that, basically to help support like the web hosting and different like all the basically all the stuff that goes into keeping it up and running and all that stuff. But for people who don't know, they're a raid guild that kind of creates guides like I said we were talking about last week, and for builds and so
yeah.
I honestly I think the biggest thing like people were kind of talking about was the plausibility of how much it costs for them to host this stuff, because I think the lowest tier was I forget how much it was. It was
I think they said like $80 plus taxes euro.
The cost of their hosting now is $125 a month that they're working up to.
On a month. Wow.
Which is really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that was one of the things I saw in the
questioning.
Reddit thread is people were like, you're getting ripped off.
You really are.
Maybe that's not just the hosting costs, but maybe they were rolling other things into it too.
And it also depends on what they pay for, like if they have any subscriptions to manage for the website, for any utilities they have. You are not allowed on that desk.
But
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, some of the other things, like
Sorry.
I know for my WordPress site, I have the domain hosting, I have the SEO, and all of those things go into it.
Yeah.
So,
okay. It's still like 125?
It can, depending on who they're hosting with and what kind of protections they have, because I think I read something else that they had some DDoS issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, because of flood of people coming in.
A lot of people were speculating that like the hosting company was like either you bump up to, because I think they were saying like it was supposedly their, because of course as the internet people looked up, it's like, oh, this is the hosting company they use, and like, oh, the plan they're talking about has like cloud storage or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, and there a lot of people were like saying like, oh, they really don't need that, why are they going that high? But it could have been very much so, and people raised a good point, was because they got DDoS, maybe they were on a lower tier, and then the company was like, hey, you're using up so much stuff, you need to go to the higher one, or we're gonna.
Well, The other thing is people on the internet arguing about what somebody needs or doesn't is kind of ridiculous, because unless you're involved with that group, you can't really say what they need, and you don't really know the logic about why they made it. Most people don't go into things being like, oh, I just want to spend more money. Like, that's not how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Though, I mean, to be fair, I know I could already see the response if someone brought that up was, well, they are asking for people to support them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there's usually reasons and a thought process and a business thing behind that. So, I mean, people do this all the time. Anytime any company reveals money or stuff, people get in arguments about whether they're wasting money or whatever, and it's kind of difficult.
Like, I get that just straight $125 a month for web hosting just to throw a website onto a server, yeah, that's a lot of money. But we don't know what all else is going in there.
Well, and that's what I was saying. Like, I have to assume that they're including other things in with that.
Yeah, I still think it's a lot. I don't know. I'd have to look into it to be personally, because like I have a site. It has 23 hours uptime, and I don't pay anything for it, and it has like access to PHP database and all that stuff, and and that's for free. So I would imagine paying like $20, you would get like a good amount of services, or even up to 50. But I feel like they're paying a little bit too much. Again, I don't know. Maybe it's EU based. It's a different thing. I don't know. But
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, I'm sure the EU probably has different rules about what's required and minimum that you have to meet.
Yeah, so that's the hardest thing is like a lot of people are talking about this, which everybody that's basically talking about this in the Reddit posts and stuff like that really don't have any insider information. Like we're even speculating, like we're just able to tell from, the plans that are on their website naturally, and because theoretically if they're big and like if they have big enough traffic, a lot of times companies like that will be willing to work for you for a custom pricing thing, and that usually might make it a little bit more, or who knows. So in the end, I really don't know.
I would say if Snowcrows could find someone who's knowledgeable about this stuff, like they can do the research for you, and then they could find you the right hosting for what you need, not just for like what you need plus any extras that you're not going to use. Because I feel like that's what's happening. Even I don't know the whole story, but I just feel like that's generally what's happening.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think it comes down to, how do you, the individual, want to spend your money? If you like this, what Snowcrows does, it's like a YouTuber or a Twitch, person having a Patreon. If you like their content and like what they're providing for it, try to, if you can, throw them a little bit of money to help them out. I think I was looking at the lowest tier was $5. So, that
for Snowcrows,
I thought it was
one.
Oh, is it one? Okay.
They have 1.510. One is I think filthy casual. 5 is toxic elitist. No, 1 is casual gamer. 5 is toxic elitist, and 10 is legendary ERP champion.
Okay, so it's
they get a +1 for their Patreon reward tiers.
But yeah, definitely, it's if you can help them out, if you do use their product and the information they put into it. But any other thoughts on the Snowcrows Patreon thing?
No.
And we will have a link in the description if you do want to support it, if that's how you found it here. So next up, we've talked about them in the past, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about them again because a lot of people are bummed that the Lunar New Year left all that like nice little free gold that you could get from the envelopes. But I'm probably gonna butcher the name again. I know I did it last time. Discretize.
It's easy to try and go discredits, and then you're like, wait, no.
Yeah, that's what I. We talked about in the past how they kind of did. Basically, they're a guild that kind of focuses similar to like the Snow Crows thing about the raid thing. They mostly focus on fractal guides and fractal builds and stuff like that. So,
Fractals.
you know, yeah, a lot of liquid gold from that. That so that could help you fill that void that you're not getting from the Lunar New Year lucky envelopes anymore.
There's cheese in the fractals?
Yeah, it's you have to glitch through one of them. It's only the strong survive it. But yeah, definitely check that out. They've updated the fractal guides and the fractal builds, so now you can be awesomely meta on and do it efficiently, so you can get all the money, all the gold. So
also, QED, how's the Condi calculations on your calculator? Like, do you guys get that finalized? I can't remember. I'll wait for you to respond in chat.
The delay.
Yeah.
They also have fractal group setups on the site now too, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Yep. Condi is in there as well for the gear calculator. So
Nice.
Fantastic. So, but so definitely check that out. Once again, links and just for chat here in case you want it here. That way, if you're watching here, you don't have to wait till the YouTube. But definitely check it out. Last up, we have from Games, Love, and Life, a little video, Turn Karma into Damask. I don't know if they've announced it, but if we're speculating like every time else, maybe the new episode will have a legendary. Maybe you gotta work for it. Maybe you're working on a legendary. Maybe you need Damask, or maybe you're just gonna sell it off. So, this is a nice way if you have ample amount of karma. And I know if you're going for a legendary, make sure to budget your karma first. But if you, go ahead. Oh, look like you were about to say something.
Thinking not to sidetrack the conversation, but how many legendaries are we still waiting on at this point? Lost track.
Great sword,
Dagger.
Trident.
Didn't
You guys
we
want to
say
tell
there
them?
would be no water ones?
Yeah, I know.
Do you guys want to tell them? Oh wait, there, Uncultured Savage got us. Longbow, Warhorn, Scepter, Dagger, Greatsword.
We have all the others already?
Yes.
Yeah, they released a torch with Draconis Wands, and it looks like garbage.
And the focus
Right.
just came with episode 1? Or
Yep.
was
Yes.
that? Okay.
One that's
Yeah, I
like an
forgot about that. Yeah.
underworld claw.
Yeah. But the nice thing is, this does utilize heart vendors, and they do recommend you need at least about 75,000 karma to achieve this. But I do want to warn you, it does utilize the Mystic Forge, so not for the faint of heart, and definitely bring your click finger. But
That's why I have a macro button.
Or that, yeah. But I was reading in their comments, they do have a plan for a Spirit Wood one, and they are open to a Dogemore ingot video if there is a demand for it. And, so... And if they could do an Alonian leather one somehow, I know that I think Alonian leather might be the most expensive item, but hey, go to their YouTube and definitely recommend it to them. And we'll throw that in there just in case.
I'm gonna need to watch this video because I am a gift of fortune away from having the Ascension.
Oh, nice.
I need to make money. I need to buy all the mats.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're just sitting on a bunch of karma.
Well, I'm not sitting on as much karma as you are, Deo.
Oh, I think I'm down to like 3.7 after making that legendary.
Wow.
Yeah, only 3.7 million.
Yeah,
I have 2K. I spent it
I think I
all
got-
on Obsidian shards.
I spent all my bandit crests on obsidian shards.
I spend my magic, the season 3 magic, and the karma on Obsidian. I try not to spend my karma, but I need the obsidian.
Honestly, just go to the silver wastes. Bandit Crest for obsidian shards. And you make a crap ton of gold just getting stuff from the silver wastes.
Yeah, I run it every now and then, but
There you
Yeah,
go.
QED, you say that, and I never have time to go into fractals.
Yeah,
That's my problem.
something I would like to do more
Yeah.
or at all, because I don't really do it anymore.
I'll say I would have to start by going. I need to do more because it is a nice income for
a
gold.
lot for a while, but yeah, busy.
That way, if I run out of karma, I can just buy the Damask and all the other stuff because I could see myself using up all that karma for all those products. But that looks like it is that for this week. And Jim, where can they find you?
I can be found on Twitter at MelFanusMMO. You can also find me here on twitch.tv/TalkingSkrit every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Zero to Hero PvP night. We have, I think, 2 weeks left in this season. Let's see here, the 28th and the 7th. Yep, the 28th and the 7th. We have 2 more weeks in this ranked season. I'm back down into gold 2 because I have won 1 game a night for the past 2 weeks.
That's pretty brutal.
8 or 9 games, only 1 win.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's just like people getting really, really angry. Like I've lamented about people AFKing after the lost team fight mid at the start of the game, and it's still sub 100 points on either side. And it's like, this is a lost game, AFK, and it's just like, maybe not.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, hopefully you place back in a good spot by the end of the season. But Age, where can they find you?
Twitch and YouTube, Age Night Road. I need to put out a video of announcement of somethings because I haven't been streaming much and I haven't been making videos, even though I've been trying, but I've been like half as tired all this week. But yeah, I'll have a video explaining all the things going on and stuff. So, and I'll try to be better about the streams this week. But,
I mean, isn't that 2 birds with 1 stone? You're gonna make a video about why you're not making videos. Then you made the video, so problem solved. Boom, you're good.
Well, not making as many videos.
Oh, okay.
So I usually do make one once a week, but I slowed down. But yeah. Anyway, you guys find out if you want to watch about that.
That's awesome. And Robin, where can they find you?
On Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82 and at MMORly.com and MMORPG.com and Gamespace.com. All over the place.
Wow. It might be just easy to follow her Twitter and then she'll hopefully tweet everything out because that's a list.
That is really the easiest.
And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. And this last week, got to play a little bit of Warframe. Wanted to try Vermintide 2's beta weekend, but fortunately was on call yesterday, so that kind of put a damper in that. But yeah, if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. We'll probably talk about what Mithrin was bringing up in chat earlier. But if you want to watch this in full, we do highlight it on Twitch right here at twitch.tv/TalkingSkrit. But if you want to watch it on YouTube, if that's your preferred method, we do put it up. Just search Talking Skritt. It's usually the first one that pops up. And that goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And if you are watching on YouTube or watching this, the highlighted version, if you can make it out to the live show on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, we do a pre-show, after-show, just kind of general gaming talk if that's what interests you. But I would like to thank this week the Twitch hosts from Jaibu Cool, Maple Syrup and Beers, 7-Bit Brian, SOTD_podcast, host of Ascalon, Serene Virus, Sundora, and That Chevron. And as always, we'll see you next week and see you in the game. Good night, everybody.
Hey.